Hey there, good morning to you. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here with a check of the First Alert forecast. A lot to talk about in the weather department. Big ticket item is going to be Hurricane Beryl. It was a major hurricane, now a Category 1, weakening as forecast because of land interaction with the Yucatan Peninsula. Made landfall just north of Tulum as a Category 2 hurricane earlier. It's also dealing with some wind shear and wrapping in some dry air, partially because of that wind shear. But we're going to be watching this very closely through the weekend, and I suggest you do too, especially if you have friends, family, loved ones in Texas or along the northern Mexican coast, maybe just south of Brownsville, adjacent to Monterey and Matamoros. Also, if you have plans anywhere across the Mid-South, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, maybe business travel going into the start of next week, because it does look like Beryl is going to pose a significant risk to the United States in northern portions and inland even portions of Mexico. So we're going to talk about the latest with Beryl. Just got the 11 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center, latest forecast track, kind of what's going on with this system at the moment. And then, of course, we have a lot of weather going on locally. Heat advisory is in effect, and we have an increasing chance of showers and thunderstorms, a couple of which could be strong as we get into the afternoon and the evening hours. So a lot to talk about. I want to remind you, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, all you have to do is go to YouTube. Maybe you're streaming on another platform right now. YouTube is the place where we can chat, and that's what's so cool about these Atlanta News First Plus live streams, and with weather where you are in particular, we can meet you where you are and answer questions that you may have and give you that clarification. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Beryl. Again, the system very obvious on satellite right now, sitting over the Yucatan Peninsula. About to, it's not going to take long, about to shift back over into the very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. So not going to be disrupted by land for too much longer. I think as we get into tonight, we are going to see improving conditions as far as strengthening is concerned, but we have to just see how put together this system still is when it finally does reemerge back over the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, looking like it's holding its own. It still has a very solid core, and we'll zoom down in and show you that very well. And if this were to be more likely to strengthen, even significantly, it would need to retain that solid core. And, it's been having some trouble. It's over land. Typically, tropical systems, they do, not typically, but they always do weaken. And we're noticing some signs of weakening, of course, but also noticing around that center of circulation some pretty pronounced, very tall thunderstorm clouds, suggesting to me, and again, this is just satellite, it's not all the data, but it's still maintaining some form of organization, and it's not being completely and totally eaten away. So as it reemerges back over the very warm waters of the southwestern Gulf of Mexico along the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, certainly some fairly quick strengthening is possible between that point and the Mexican coastline, the Texas coastline, because here is the latest forecast track, and it has been shifting right over the past 24 hours with a likely forecast along, or really just north now, of the Texas-Mexico border, forecast to be by Sunday morning. So we're talking less than 48 hours from now at this point, approaching the northern Mexican, the southern Texas coastline, the lower Texas coast, as they call it, as a strengthening Category 1 hurricane. Forecast to make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane, though there is some wiggle room here. It could make landfall as a stronger system than that. Just keep that in mind, and remember, no matter where it makes landfall, the impacts will extend well beyond the center of circulation, especially with an organized system on the move and developing across developing across the Bay of Campeche and portions of the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to be watching that here pretty closely for you. Going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And again, we're back. So if you do have any questions so far, just remember you go to YouTube, and we do have someone, Wesley Millsap. Thanks for watching. Always checking in, watching from Ackworth. Again, Wesley, if you have any questions about the tropics, it's a lot to digest, a lot to talk about. So feel free to ask away. And I'll do my best to provide some clarification, give you some answers. But right now, while there is uncertainty, we're very confident that there will be a strengthening system, tropical storm or hurricane, as we get into the Sunday, Monday timeframe. Again, forecast to make landfall in Texas with kind of a sharp turn off to the north. Here's what's going to happen. Ridge of high pressure off to the east will kind of weaken and back away a little bit. Counterclockwise flow, or clockwise flow, I should say, around that high will help pull it northward. But even more than that, we actually have an area of low pressure, and it's forecast to form, kind of pinch off, I guess, from a front, same front that's giving us this rain chance in Atlanta, and help to scoop this system northward. Now, how sharp that turn is remains to be seen. But a sharper turn, of course, would mean an impact further up the Texas coastline. And then a more broad or looser turn would maybe keep a landfall position just south of Brownsville. So anyone on the Texas coastline, because of the nature of this specific storm and the specific setup that is leading to this track, anyone along the Texas and extreme northern, northeastern Mexican coastline does need to keep a close eye on the system, because there are uncertainties with strength and with track. And I will say, the stronger the system gets, the more likely it is to take a sharper turn. So they kind of feed back on each other. The more likely it is to take a sharper turn if it strengthens more quickly, and maybe we're dealing with a major hurricane. So we're going to be watching this here pretty closely over the next 48 hours, 72 hours. Thankfully, though, as far as we are concerned, we have no issues with this system, no impacts in our area. Just wanted to kind of get that out of the way, hit it off the top, and now we're going to get back into our forecast. It is hot outside. Heat advisory is in effect. Today is a first alert weather day. Heat and storms impacting your plans potentially. Already getting some isolated showers and thunderstorms developing across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. The closest little shower into town, and we'll give you a little tour of the radar here in just a moment on the northwest side. But look at what's developing off to our north and west. We actually have a pretty solid line of showers and thunderstorms getting organized. Forecast models doing a very good job so far, I will say, handling the local setup. And models bring that line into North Georgia, metro Atlanta, and we actually see kind of an uptick in the amount of rain we're seeing, the rain and storm coverage as we get into the later afternoon and the evening hours. All right, zooming down in, again, these showers are moving off to the north and to the east ahead of that line in Alabama. One shower just to the south of Marietta, tracking towards Smyrna, Vining, Sandy Springs, maybe the south side of Alpharetta, south side of Milton, and perhaps even the northwest side of Doraville could get clipped, at least by that little downpour. Rain is heavy, but it's brief. No lightning detected with these just yet. Another shower up north of Lawrenceville at the 85-985 split, and a few more little showers developing over Douglas and Carroll counties. If you've looked outside within the past 30 minutes, probably noticing those clouds really starting to get some height to them, and we're starting to see showers and thunderstorms bubble up kind of in a typical summertime fashion. What is a little atypical is this boundary moving in from the north and west. That's going to add fuel to the fire, so to speak, and help lift the atmosphere and help to really get those clouds growing taller and showers and more organized and stronger storms a possibility as that boundary moves through. Again, a first alert weather day today because of the heat, but also because of the likelihood that showers and thunderstorms will impact your afternoon and early evening plans across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Want to go ahead and bring you to an hour-by-hour forecast. Again, the same forecast model that I said has been doing pretty good so far this morning. Same is still in play. Case in point, this looks very similar to what we're actually seeing on First Alert radar. This is not radar. This is what a computer thinks radar will look like as we go through the day, giving me confidence that it has the right idea with the forecast. No jarring differences here, and watch what happens locally across the metro. Spotty showers, a couple of storms continue to develop as this line of showers and storms, more organized rain and storm activity continues to shift in our direction. So by 3-4 p.m., I think stormiest across the metro, 5 p.m. possibly lingering into early evening, 6 p.m. mainly south and east sides by that point. Here we are 6, it's Athens, Jonesboro, down to Thomas and Upson County, LaGrange, Troup County. Quieting down, though, in the metro. So you may be able to get your dinner plans in okay without much of an impact. However, could still see a spotty shower or storm linger even past sunset. Just something we're going to be watching pretty closely timing wise. I do think, though, that the main bulk of the activity will be between maybe 2 and 3 p.m. and 6, 7 p.m., kind of as a broader window for the even larger metro area, with the mountains seeing storms first, extreme northwest Georgia seeing storms first, and then drying out as we get into this evening and overnight tonight. So that's the gist of it. We gave you the update on Hurricane Beryl. Got all the graphics in, had to step away for just a moment, and also more on today's First Alert Weather Day. Heat advisory in effect. It is hot. In fact, I can pull that up for you. Actual high temperatures today in the mid-90s. Now, you factor in the mugginess, that really gross humidity we've been feeling for the past few days. You combine that with how hot it is by itself, and it's feeling like it's 104, 108, 109, at least as hot as 101 in all of our counties shaded in orange here. I know Cleburne and Randolph counties in Alabama not shaded. That's a different National Weather Service office. They have a different jurisdiction and qualifications needed to be met, basically, before they'll pull the trigger on a heat advisory for their area that they're responsible for forecasting for. And really, it's just a technicality. It is going to be no cooler in Cleburne and Randolph counties, where it could be a little bit cooler, lower humidity, slightly cooler temperatures, and I'm using this, as a relative term. It's still going to be hot. But Ellijay, Helen, Gainesville, Dawsonville, Dahlonega, Clay County, North Carolina, Clayton, Georgia, are mountain communities, slightly cooler and a little bit less humidity in the First Alert forecast up there, so it won't feel quite as hot. Again, want to thank you for joining. First Alert Meteorologist Ella Dorsey is going to have your complete First Alert forecast. More on Beryl, the 7-day, walking you through the entirety of the weekend. More heat, more humidity, and a few more storms to contend with as we go into the weekend, especially south of I-20. She'll have your latest forecast. Then also, again, latest news headlines at noon. If you have any questions about the weekend forecast and you're on the go, can't miss, or you can't watch the new newscast, just want to remind you, we are always streaming in the First Alert Weather app and the Atlanta News First app. You don't have to be in front of a TV. Also, you can get the forecast in the First Alert Weather app. Go about your day, stay cool, stay hydrated, maybe enjoy Lake Lanier like you're seeing now. But if you are doing outdoor activities, stay hydrated and keep your precipitation and your lightning alerts turned on in the First Alert Weather app. Will keep you ahead of these showers and storms moving into Metro Atlanta.